What's up, everybody? Saltiest Gaming, and we're back with another podcast. T.S.P episode 31. Back in the building. What's up, everybody?
What's going on, guys?
What up?
Welcome back, people.
Yeah. Before we get going, I just want to shout out Just Chill 2000, if I can speak. He dropped a $50 super chat in the pregame. That's even before we went live. I want to say thank you. I appreciate it a lot. It will help go towards the content, and I do appreciate you. He was talking about that he's happy that there's a channel to go to that, you know, is an Xbox channel that's not really a fanboy channel, but is, you know, focuses on the positives. There's lots of negatives going around. So I do appreciate that. So getting back into it, how you guys doing?
Doing good, man.
All right.
Yeah, feeling real good, dude. It's a good night, man. It's a good night. I had the day off today. Was able to relax, chill, get some games in, and I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
Lucky bastard.
I was just reading an article earlier on how men have nipples and why, and it was really interesting, and I think we should discuss that later in the show.
Oh my god! I have
I'll wait for the front runner to jump in the jet. You know who that is. No?
Let's let's shout out the people that are here, because I do appreciate you guys. Like I said, Just Chill, Brujo X, who else is here? HTK 360, Stinking Corpse, Jesse Darby.
What up?
Brady, what's up? Thanks for being here. So anyway, make sure you guys share this out. Let's get 20 likes. Let's get this going. So how's your week been, guys? There's lots of interesting things going on Twitter. To be honest, it's been crazy out there in those gaming streets, you know. So other than that, let's talk about how your week's been gaming wise. Our special guest from B.R.A.P podcast, if I could talk, you said you were playing Bloodborne, right?
Yeah, playing some Bloodborne, man. It's one of my favorite games this console gen. I mean, I just I can't believe I neglected it for 3 years. Finally picked it up for free, and wow, great game.
Wow.
Nice.
3 years, man. It's been out for 3 years?
Yeah, it came out in 2015. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my god, it feels like it just kind of breezed by, but man, time flies, man. We've got a lot of really good games these past 3 years then, man. And we got so many more coming.
It's been a great console gen. I mean, you can't deny that there's been just a plethora of great content on all platforms.
So if you had to rank your PlayStation games, like let's take Spider-Man and God of War out of it because they haven't come out yet.
Yeah.
Where would Bloodborne be on that list?
Ooh, good question. Probably, I would say it's probably the second best game that I've played on the PlayStation. The PlayStation 4 this gen. I would give the top spot to Horizon Zero Dawn.
There you go. That's what I was waiting for. I was like, man, when I had my PlayStation, that game was it. I mean, that game still is amazing. I didn't get a chance to play the DLC, but man, that game was fun.
Yeah, I haven't either, but it's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll see what God of War will probably take that take the crown if what everyone's saying is true, and I have a similar experience as some of the people that have played the game already. So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely, man. From what I've been reading, dude, it's gonna be up there. It's gonna be way up there. So I'm excited for the PlayStation owners, man.
When I get my PlayStation, I used to say that was going to be the first game that I play, but damn, with God of War, the news coming out, which we will touch upon, that's got to be my first game. Then I'll do Bloodborne. Fonz, did you play Bloodborne by chance, or I don't know? I think you did, right?
Yep. Beat Bloodborne. I think the second week it was out. No help in that game, and I didn't use any spoilers or any kind of glitches or anything. I did it legit, and I got to say that's the hardest game I've ever beat.
Okay.
Really?
So just to let you guys know, me and Nintendo Direct, he used to be a panel member here on TSP. We have a friendly little bet going on. The remastered version of the original Dark Souls is going to be coming out shortly, and it's be coming out on his platform of choice, the Nintendo Switch. He's never played a Souls game, so I made a bet to him. I said, hey, he's like, he's like, I'm gonna get the game, and I was like, I don't know, man, this doesn't seem like your game. You might get your balls crushed, So he was like, nah, I'm gonna get through it, and I was like, okay. I was like, let's make a little bet here. So we made the stipulations. He has 3 weeks to beat the original Dark Souls. He can't summon other human players. He's got to get through it. So he has 3 weeks. If he doesn't beat it, he gets to ship the game to me, and I get the game. And then if he does beat it, then I have to buy Splatoon for the Switch because I just bought the Switch. So this is going to be the easiest money I ever get. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, you're not even warning him about people jumping into his game and just and potentially like owning him.
Yeah.
He's going to listen to TSP, and now he's going to know. So thanks, you spoiled it, man.
Yeah,
your money now. He's taking your money, man.
No, I'm sure he knows, man. You can't go. I remember on the Xbox 360 when I played the original Dark Souls, I couldn't go into this one area. That I think it was in that forest where that big wolf is at with the blade in his mouth. I forget his name. As soon as I would enter that area, I would be bombarded with just random players coming in and just wiping me out, dude. It was insane.
Yeah, they have the factions. It's like a PvP faction, I think. I don't think they're called factions, but I know for a fact that if you sign up for that, it's a PvP oriented thing, and you protect that area. That's why you get all those summons and stuff like that, and they kick your ass. But the original Dark Souls is ball crushing for the new player, the newbie. So stay tuned for that. We'll keep you updated on social media how that turns out.
If he makes the Blighttown, mad props to him.
Yeah. Apparently, the lag fest that is Blighttown has been addressed. So I'm excited to see what that Switch version looks like. So anyway, who else? Native, what have you been playing this week, man?
Man, this week, I honestly haven't been playing much. I've been going to bed really freaking early this week. I think one of the games that I've been playing the most of, I jumped back into Gears 4, just playing PvP there by myself. PUBG, I've played a couple games of. I played a few games of Fortnite with you, Salty, you and Nick, and our buddy Shameless. So that was a lot of fun. But other than that, man, I haven't really been playing much. So hopefully this weekend I'll be able to do some gaming with the Division, which I did try earlier for about maybe an hour, and it looks fantastic. And it feels amazing. So I'm excited to get back into that.
Awesome. Punk, what have you been playing this week, man?
Kind of like Mr. Enrique there, man. I went back, finally beat Rise of the Tomb Raider. What's that? Also 2015. I think I just beat that on Tuesday, man. That game is phenomenal. I had to do the high frame rates there. Looks beautiful. Can't believe I waited so long to play it. It's phenomenal. Definitely playing that has me wanting Shadow so bad. So I'm definitely excited for that to come out. And then last week I bought Ori in the Blind Forest, man. I bought that on sale. It was $10. Never played it, so I've been grinding on that the last 3 nights. It's really addicting, very addicting, man. I got stuck on exiting some water tree, really kicking my ass. You guys have played the game, but I finally beat it. Dude, I played it. I probably failed on that part for an hour, and then went to bed 1 in the morning, and then literally yesterday I came back home after work, beat it in 2 tries. I'm like, what the hell? Funny how that works, man. But man, that's pretty much all I've been playing this week, man. I'm excited to play some Division if we are going to do that this weekend, because I did hop on today for 15 minutes just to check out those 4K graphics, and it's phenomenal. It looks great, man. So hopefully you guys get on this weekend.
Oh yeah, we'll have to check that out. I briefly turned on the game. I don't have a 4K television, and it didn't really look that much different to me, but maybe it's just you need that 4K television. I don't know how many assets are there and additions were made, but anyway, we'll have to check that out. But without further ado, we got a lot of great topics tonight.
You didn't ask me what I did this week.
I know, what the hell?
We talked about Bloodborne, dude. I thought we talked about what you did. Okay, Fonz, what'd you do this week, man?
Okay, well, this week I just got back, guys. Of course, from backpacking supplies into a remote region of the Torres Strait Island, which I do every year. Of course, I bring medical aid and I just bring clothes and food. Local Aboriginal people there, and I just
wait. Hold on, Fonz. Quick question.
What?
Why are you so motivated and driven to do these wonderful things?
Oh, well, you know, people ask me that all the time, and I just love helping people. I just love to help. That's it.
Oh,
all right, let's go.
That's amazing. Okay, well, hopefully your arm doesn't get tired patting yourself on the back there. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into tonight's show. We got a great guest, man. I've been trying to get this guy on. I had to beg him. He's been dodging, like we're playing, you know, dodgeball. But he's from the B.R.A.P podcast. He's a good friend. We've done multiple shows together. Let's start off with your intro, my friend. Where can people find you? What's your history with YouTube and the gaming community? And then we'll get into your gaming history after that.
Yeah, man. You know, you can find me on Twitter at geez, I can't remember my Twitter handle now because I was playing Bloodborne and I was so focused on that. You can find me at _podcast on Twitter. I've had a channel now for almost like 2 years.
Okay.
And I've had many of you all except for Irrelevant Fraud. He's the only one that hasn't been on the podcast, but you know, Fonz has been on, Salty, you've been on. You know, finally got Pug Kiddish on. DV Gaming in the house.
That's right. Represent.
Oh,
yep.
God.
So yeah. So yeah, I've been doing it for about 2 years, and you know, I've had numerous guests, community guests. Had, speaking of God of War, I had David Jaffe on as a guest one time. Yeah, that was right around the time before he was getting ready to release Drawn to Death. If you guys remember that for the PlayStation 4.
That was that one. That one was good.
Yeah, so Ryan McCaffrey, Greg Casava from Supergiant Games. Oh, geez, I feel like I'm missing. I know I'm missing other people, but so yeah, I've been doing it about 2 years. You know, just started a podcast just to talk video games with gamers, and geez, man, I've been gaming probably about as long as Fonzarelli has, about 36 years. Yes, I've been doing this for a long time, man. It's been quite a ride. It's a great, you know, even though I'm you know 41 and I've been doing this a long time, I've definitely enjoyed the perspective I had because I've really seen the gaming industry really change from dying through the Atari and ET. ET literally really did kill the gaming industry for a little bit, to Nintendo marketing the NES as a entertainment system as opposed to a game console, so they could sell here in the US. So yeah, I've been doing it for a long time, man. Just been having a good time.
Awesome. So what would you say was your favorite console? Like, let's take out the current gen. What do you think was the best for you?
Oh man,
you gotta pick one.
Yeah, that's a great question, man. I'm gonna go with the Nintendo Entertainment System, and I always go to that system because that was the birthplace of so many great franchises that we know and love today. Obviously, Mario, Zelda, Metroid, but there were some other ones there. Ninja Gaiden, Final Fantasy, Castlevania. God, what else was Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior? Double Dragon, although that was an arcade game. Rare and RC Pro-Am. That's my first experience in playing any Rare game was RC Pro-Am back in the days, and that game was a lot of fun. I remember spending hours playing that game.
Yep.
But go ahead, Fonz.
No, I said me too, man. That game was awesome.
Yeah, it was, man. And I got Tecmo Bowl, Double Dribble, Blades of Steel. If you guys remember Blades of Steel, it was like a hockey game, and like you would get into a fight, it would go to a cutscene, and there's two guys standing at it, facing each other. You drop the gloves and just start battling.
Mm-hmm.
Super Contra. I mean, there's so many. Oh, go. I mean, we were just talking about Bloodborne and Dark Souls. Before there was Dark Souls and Bloodborne, there was Ghost and Goblins, which was the equivalent of like, this game's gonna kick your ass and it's super hard. And God, what else? I'm trying to think of some other games that were Nintendo. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was just such like Nintendo. It was the console to own at the time, and I had so many great memories playing with friends, and it spawned so many great franchises that are still around today. And so I would say that's probably my definitely my top favorite console of all time, man, without a doubt.
Yeah, I asked the chat what their favorite system of all time was, and there are lots of Nintendos out there. It's interesting. Lethal Papa with the PS2. It's nice to hear people's takes on gaming, because we all have this history, and it's varied for a lot of people.
I have to interject. There's only one right answer to that question, and it's the Dreamcast, people.
Oh boy,
that's definitely number 2 for me, man. I have the most memories on 64.
The Dreamcast will have one of the best launch lineups ever. I mean, you can't. That launch lineup was sick. Yeah. What did they launch with Soul Calibur, Skies of Arcadia? What else? I feel like I'm forgetting a bunch of other games they launched with.
Wasn't it Ready to Rumble? Crazy Taxi. There was a bunch of them. Bunch of games, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never had a Dreamcast. I was a Nintendo dude, and then Xbox all the way up. But yeah, it's nice to hear your gaming history, man. Thanks for coming on. Like I said before, we have some awesome topics tonight, and we'll get it started with a little interesting topic here. Radical Heights. It's a new game by Cliffy B. If you're not familiar with this guy, he worked on the Gears of War franchise for a while. He branched off and made the colossal failure that was Lawbreakers, and now he's making a new game called Radical Heights. It's an 80s looking game, and I could tell Fonzarelli had a half chub when he saw this game, because it has nostalgia for him, and it has the 80s look. It's in extremely early access, and this is a new term that I haven't heard before. Extreme early access. I've heard early access.
This is Salty. Hold up.
This is a new one. Okay.
If you mean by 80s or nostalgia look or 80s look by it looking like Roblox, then you're sadly mistaken, because this game does you know what? I don't understand, man. I don't get what he's doing.
So Cliffy B, it seems like he looks at trends. You had the hero shooter, you had Overwatch and Battleborn. He's like, let's throw a hero shooter together, and he did Lawbreakers. And now the trend is these battle royale types, and it looks like he took pieces and then smashed them together and then vomited this game out. And they've actually said that it's about 5 months of development, and boom, a game's out. I just want to hear you guys' take on the game itself, and then we'll talk about this extreme early access concept, because I personally think that this is a weird trend. I don't think it's good for gaming. Let's start off with our guests. B.R.A.P, what do you think, man? What do you think about the game? And then we'll talk about this extremely early access concept.
Oh God, it was only a matter of time before we started getting more battle royale games, and I'm just afraid that Cliffy B and he calls this a passion project, but I'm not so sure if this is much as a passion project as much as like, oh shit, we dropped Lawbreakers, it didn't do well, we need to find something else to do and maybe try to recoup some of that lost revenue. I don't know. And I don't want to say that this game based on and when I heard about this, I was like, oh God, this is the same guy who did Lawbreakers. And I know that's not fair. We shouldn't say that, because he's actually, he's been part of some great franchises like Gears and Unreal Tournament. But I don't know, guys. I'm not so excited for this game. And I guess part of that has to do with the failure of Lawbreakers. Although I think Lawbreakers is probably a game too that was out of its time, like past its time. Like those kinds of games, those Quake type games aren't really that popular anymore. I mean, I think that had he released Lawbreakers maybe, 15 years ago, maybe different story, different outcome. But I'm not so sure about this game. I think I think he's trying to cash in maybe on that battle royale hype.
Yeah.
Maybe his timing is off. He's too late. So
So you're kind of iffy on the whole the game itself. What about this extreme early access situation? We're talking about a game that, you know, is extreme early access. It's, you know, it's under development. It's not finished, lots of bugs and stuff like that. Do you think this is a bad trend for gaming? Because like, at what point do you draw the line to say, you know, you guys start developing our game for us, you know, because it's so unfinished? Like, what do you think of this extreme early access concept?
I mean, like, what is that even like? I guess I want to know what constitutes like early, like extreme access. Like, is that like, is it like, hey, you know what, we got the start menu going, and
Exactly.
we'll get back to you like in two. No, seriously, we get back to you like 2 weeks, and then we'll have, you know, the first level where you can actually move your character a couple inches, and now he can draw his weapon. I mean, what does that even mean? You know, I don't have an issue with it so long as there's some kind of defined roadmap. And they keep the level of communication with the community consistent and open. But there's got to be a roadmap. There's got to be a roadmap to this, or else it's just, if there's not, to me, it's just a waste of everyone's time.
Nice. Punk, what do you think, man, of this game? Because you like shooters, right?
I do like shooters. I'm kind of burnt out with the whole battle royale thing also. So I didn't even see this until someone else had retweeted it on Twitter, you know, so of course that's when I watched a little trailer for it, and then like I sent it to you guys. I'm like, what the hell is this? It looks so awkward and terrible. But it's so bad looking. I don't know what Cliffy B's doing. Like I said, he's made great things. I don't know what he's trying to do. The whole extreme early thing, I get it. It's like, obviously we have all became testers now, you know, like, oh, that's what we all wanted to be. We're all testers now. But now, like I said, now are we making their games? Like, do they not have people within their own company to give them ideas? So they need like the millions across the world. I mean, you can just get on a freaking Reddit page and ask questions for that. I don't understand it. I don't like it. I do not want it to become a trend. That's terrible, because if this is the way things are going to start going, games are going to get really shitty and out of hand.
Yeah. You know? I think where it lies in their ability to stretch out the idea is the fact that it's free. They're like, hey, come, you know, test this game out. It's free. But the weird thing is they have items that you can buy eventually, right? Cosmetics.
Yeah. And they gotta make their money somehow.
Yeah, they can monetize all these things. It's like essentially what they're doing in Fortnite, right? A polished game, a finished game, a game that took you know, years to develop or whatever. So they're making their money. So essentially they keep making their money. If the game's not successful, they made their money. It lowers the risk for them. So I just don't know where this has an endpoint, like where they could push it as far as they want. I guess the consumer will say how far they're willing to let it go by playing it or not playing it. Right. Fonz, what do you think of this, the game itself, and then, you know, extreme early access?
Man, look, the game looks terrible. It's not about them jumping on a bandwagon that's a trend that's, you know, and it being too late. I think what it comes down to is just the game looks bad. It doesn't appeal to me in any way, shape, or form. And the consensus is out there that it doesn't appeal to many out there. So yep. I think that it's not about what type of game it is. It's about the execution of the actual game, and the mechanics look off just by looking at them. They look weird. Like, I don't know what it feels like, of course, because I haven't played it, but it doesn't look like it's going to feel good, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. First impressions are big, you know. So once you start going further and further and further, like earlier in the development, your game looks that much more shittier. The mechanics look shittier. The game itself does. So then people get that impression, and it's hard to kind of lose that. You know, you might update the game later and make it better, but I think people, you know, first impressions are everything. Native, what do you think?
You know, first impressions mean everything. You're 100% right. And we might get into first impression talk later.
Ooh, true. Ooh, we might. Stay tuned.
Little bit of foreshadowing there. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
No, man. I think that Cliffy B, from what he's done with God of War, he knows how to do things. But my botting.
Yeah, your botting.
Kind of went.
Keep going. Keep going.
All right, that's fine. But yeah, he's a competent developer. I think he knows what he's doing since he worked on God of
Yeah, you're botting, dude.
When he's left to his own device.
Try backing.
Am I botting, chat?
Yeah, you're
botting, man.
Try backing out and then come back in.
Sounds good. Awesome.
Change your name to Irrelevant Botter.
Hey, while we're at it, we can get a service announcement out there. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's get 40 likes, share it out on Twitter. So anyway, yeah, this game, we don't need to beat a dead horse, but it looks rough, and I'm not a big fan of extreme early access. We'll get Native's take when he gets back, but let's move on to the next topic. Inside Xbox episode 2 happened. Did you guys get a chance to check that out? Did we lose 2 people? You guys there?
Yeah, 2 people left.
Yeah, looks like we lost Fonzarelli too, right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
He took Fonz with him.
So Enrique, did you get a chance to I know you got a chance to see Inside Xbox episode 2. What's your overall thoughts? Do you think it improved from the first episode? We'll get into specifics about what happened in the episode, but what was your take from the first episode to the second? Do you think it improved?
Yeah, no, it was definitely like a little bit shorter. It looks like they listened to some of the feedback from the community, but still, I still think it's a little bit too long. But I felt like the information was a little bit better this time around. Like they announced backwards compatibility. They talked about what was it, FanFest? They dropped some information on that. But I think for me the biggest takeaway and the one thing I liked was the announcement of backwards compatibility. And them talking about that. But I still think that, and look, I know they're not going to like make big game announcements there, right? Like I get that. But I still think I feel like they could probably do a good show in like 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's.
Go ahead.
I was just say I think that there's quality over quantity, and I think that 30 minutes or 45 minutes would be good, just to kind of like get people like hooked, because after that hour, man, it's like, oh man, it's like I can't even pay attention anymore.
It becomes too much.
Yeah,
it's true. I personally think that they should keep it at an hour. I think that would be perfect for this type of show. Maybe 45 minutes, but I think there was some sort of surprise when it came to the amount of backwards compatible titles that were announced. I think that they saved them up for one show, and I think in itself was pretty surprising and nice to see. Native, are you back, my friend?
Looks like he's on mute.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, sorry about that. I am back.
Okay.
Just making sure that everything was running correctly. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me all right. We good?
No,
we good?
Again? Yeah, I want to get your thoughts real quick on Radical Heights, and then we'll.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just gonna say Cliffy B. He was a competent developer with Gears of War. Sorry, guys. I know I was saying God of War. I got it on the mind, but yeah, no, he's a competent. When he's left to his own device, he just doesn't know where he's at. He doesn't know what he needs to do. He doesn't know himself as a developer well enough to say, okay, this is the kind of game that I want to make. So he's just jumping from bandwagon to bandwagon. And with this Radical Heights game, I think the extreme early access thing is kind of a play on early access itself. Because he's had such a negative, interaction with a lot of Xbox people, with Microsoft in itself. And he's just kind of doing a play on it, saying, oh, this is extreme early access. But I think it's just a load of crap. Honestly, I think it's a broken game right now, and he's kind of just winging it as he goes. I don't think he knows himself to say this is the kind of game that I want to make. And so he calls everything a passion project. Well, this dude's passionate about a lot of, but none of them are doing well, and you can tell that there's no passion behind it. So that's just what I feel.
Awesome. I think that's a great point, Rella, where you said like it's a play on early access. You're right. I think it absolutely is. I mean, I could totally see him kind of goofing, just his personality. He's a very flamboyant, brash developer. I could totally see him kind of making a play or kind of poking fun at early access by calling it extreme early access.
Exactly. That's right where I went to as soon as I seen that. Where extreme early access, like, all right, this dude's taking a piss. at Microsoft, and he's doing it well. So hopefully his game lasts a little bit longer than Lawbreakers does, but that remains to be seen.
To last longer than Lawbreakers, it just has to last more than 2 months.
Oh god. Hey, Bloody's in the house. What's up, buddy?
Welcome. Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry about that. You know, long day at work, training newbies, just doing stuff.
Awesome. So let's get your take real quick, and then we'll move on. Radical Heights. Give me your impressions, and then your thoughts on this extreme early access.
When I saw it, it looked stupid as it was. It's a cool idea. Don't get me wrong. It's interesting that the 80s take, but we actually talked about this, is that it looks like a mix of the cartoony style of Fortnite mixed with some of the absurdity that we saw in Darwin with none of the originality. Like, there's nothing unique about this except for the fact that you get money and ride around on a bicycle. It has no longevity. It has no original ideas whatsoever. And Native brought up a good point, is that Cliffy B has just been kind of writing coattails of popular things after he walked away from Epic and the Gears series. He hasn't been doing anything. He spent 4 or 5 years after Gears 3 not doing anything, and then suddenly he's just like, I'm gonna make my own studio and come out of retirement, and he puts out Lawbreakers. He said, this is a passion that I've had for a while. I was like, okay, you're riding the coattails of the arena shooter that's gotten big because of Overwatch, and you're not doing anything cool. I was like, yeah, sure, the Zero G was an interesting concept, but other than that, what more did it have to it? Yeah. And now with Radical Heights, the extreme early access, it is a play because of the fact that he tries to be witty. And yeah, I guess you could say extreme early access makes fun of the fact that it's all 80. So I mean, it's already called Radical Heights, so extreme early access is just going to make another play on all that, on the aesthetic of what he's going for with it. But it's not heartfelt. It's just another cheap gimmick. It's coming shortly after they announced that they're killing off Lawbreakers, even though Lawbreakers has been dead for months. Like, I don't know what he's trying to do. He's already taken a dig at half the community and people that supported him when he was coming up anyways, that gave him any sort of stance where he is in the industry. And he's completely abated them, bashed them, and burned all bridges. So he's grasping at straws to get some sort of spot back in the limelight.
Yep, and that's my thoughts exactly. Lord Kaibatsu, man. Yeah, we're killing you with the Cliffy B game. Yeah, we stuck on that a little long because we had some technical difficulties. Had to hold it together, my bro. What can I do? And we had some late shows and whatever. We're gonna get into this, man. We're gonna get this popping. Inside Xbox episode 2 happened. Let's talk about the highlights, guys. I already got B.R.A.P's take on it. What stood out to you guys? Let me go over the list real quick when it came to the backwards compatible titles, and then we'll talk about it. So the thing that stood out to me was the fact that they announced a lot of original Xbox backwards compatible titles, and it's not just some low key ones. So it's a lot of the ones that people have been asking for. The list that's coming out. So April 17th, we got Blink's the Time Sweeper, Breakdown, Conquer Live and Reloaded, The Elder Scrolls 3, Morrowind, Hunter the Reckoning, Jade Empire, that's one of the big ones, Panzer Dragoon, SSX 3, and then on April 26th, Destroy All Humans, Full Spectrum Warrior, Mercenaries Playground of Destruction, MX Unleashed, Panzer Elite Action. Then we got a bunch of Star Wars titles. We got the original Battlefront, Battlefront 2, Jedi Academy, and Star Wars Jedi Fighter, Knights of the Old Republic 2, which is a big one, and then Republic Commando. So out of these games, which ones stood out to you guys? We already had a little bit of a review of Inside Xbox, but I want to get your guys' take and which ones will you actually go back and play. B.R.A.P, are you going to go back and play any of these games, or are you not down with the backwards compatibility?
I will actually go back and play Panzer Dragoon Orta because it is a classic. And at the time when it came out on the OG Xbox, it was one of the I think one of the most highest rated games for that platform. And if we talked about Sega earlier, it was Panzer Dragoon has kind of a cult following stemming from the days of the Sega Saturn, and it was an excellent entry in the series on the OG Xbox. So I will definitely go back and play that. But that's probably the only game that I'll go back and play. I have no interest in playing Morrowind. I played Morrowind when it came out in the OG Xbox. God, I probably put well over 100 hours. I even had the damn strategy guide was like the size of an encyclopedia book. I'm not even lying.
I remember.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it was no joke. I mean, that thing was like, I would carry that thing to me like to work and like read it during lunch. I was obsessed. But yeah, definitely Panzer Dragoon Orta. And if no one's played that game yet, if you're a gamer who hasn't played that, I highly recommend that you try that. It's a classic, Sega classic.
Yeah, I haven't played that game, but I've heard enough people talk about it that I might check it out. Punk, are you going to play any of these games? Are you down with the backwards compatibility?
When it comes to the OG Xbox games, not so much, mainly because at that time, like I think I'd gotten the Xbox a year after it came out, but I was still definitely more of a PlayStation 2 gamer. So none of those games are exactly exciting to me. This is, I mean, to keep it short, there's nothing for it. I like the 360 stuff to go back here and there, but the OG stuff just isn't really for me.
Cool. Fonz, what about you, man?
Yeah, for me, the OG stuff, I'd have to give it to Panzer Dragoon, and of course Morrowind. Put so many hours into Morrowind back in the day. Loved it. I might take a look at it just to see what it looks like now, but as you know, for playing the whole thing or really getting into it, nah, I'm not going to do that. Panzer Dragoon might dabble with that a little bit more because that was a really fun game, and I think it could still hold up. I got to check it out. I haven't played that type of game in a while, and but for me, the 360 games really stood out to me, and especially Red Dead Redemption, of course, guys. That's my favorite game. Oh, yeah. So the 4K look to that game, the HDR, everything about it, you know, man, I can't wait to play it for a third time. Can't wait.
It's true, man. I actually turned the game on and it looks outstanding. I'm actually playing through it again. So I'll be through that.
That game looks phenomenal. I turned it on last night while I was broadcasting on B.R.A.P. And I was just like, yeah, I was just on the horse and I was just like galloping around, like looking around. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, honestly, the technology that they were going through on the show, it's crazy the way it improves the game, like the draw distance and the res and the way that, I don't know, I'm not big into that technology, but the way it almost looks like a remaster to me, but on a lower end of that scale, because it looks, first of all, let's give props where props is due. The devs that make this game, the fact that it's been out so long, even before this update, Red Dead had that life that it just looked good. It looked good still to me. And then once this, 4K patch was put in, it looks that much better. It's going to be that incentive for people to go back in and play this before the next game comes out. And that's amazing. I think that's good for the next game. I think people can get, play it if they haven't played it, because there's some people that haven't, and, they can jump back in 4K. So that's a good thing for them. Native, any of these OG back compat titles stand out to you?
Oh yeah, man. I think Jade Empire is probably the one that I've been clamoring for, besides Legacy of Kain Defiance. That's the one that I've been wanting the most out of the OG backwards compat, was Jade Empire and Legacy of Kain. Conker's bad. Conker Live and Reloaded. I love Conker. Conker is my most from the Nintendo 64, probably because I 7. I think I was about 6 or 7 years old when I played that damn game. My parents had no idea what it was. I didn't care. I knew what it was, and it was amazing. So, but the thing is that they have that on Rare Replay, where you can play that again. It may not look as good, but we'll see. I might jump it back into to Conquer, but Jade Empire, I'm definitely going to jump in, and Knights of the Old Republic 2, I'm going to have to pick that one up. That one might be the first one I pick up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I've got a second Legacy of Kain as well. Love that game.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That would be amazing. Bloody, what stood out to you, man?
Well, I gushed about it on Tuesday, but I'll gush about it again. Just Panzer Dragoon. Panzer Dragoon and Jade Empire are my two most anticipated that out of all those I love. I never finished Jade Empire because when that came out, I was like 12 at the time. And it's just one of those games that has me excited because I played through KOTOR. I recently played through KOTOR 1 on my PC and on my Xbox. And Jade Empire was just so unique because it was more of an action RPG, but it was done by BioWare. It had great fighting mechanics. It was a Kung Fu style game. And Panzer Dragoon was a rail shooter. And during the years ago, back in the 90s and thousands, rail shooters were the coolest thing at like the arcades and stuff. And Panzer Dragoon was just a unique one because you'd ride a fucking dragon. Like, what's cooler than riding a dragon? Like, honestly, just blowing stuff up in the sky, like flying ships and everything. It was great. Panzer Dragoon Orta is one of my favorite in the series, and for people to be able to play that and in the full resolution that it was meant to be played at and see it in a whole new light, it's something absolutely special. Like, I can't gush more about it than I already do because I enjoyed Crimson Dragon, but even though it was made by the same team, it just didn't have the life and essence that Panzer Dragoon did. And now that we're actually getting it, that makes me so much more happy. And maybe I'll give Crimson Dragon a second chance, but it just didn't hold up to the legacy that it left behind.
So I want to address something real quick. It's a comment that was in the chat by Chris Jones. $500 to play old games. Is Microsoft ever going to make new games?
Shout out to the trolls.
So that's a pretty salty take there. Honestly, it's something that we're going to go over today.
Chris Jones. That's the guy who was telling me that The Last of Us Remaster was full 4K at 60 frames on the Pro, which he was wrong about. It's 1800p at 60 frames and 2160 at 30. Chris.
So yeah,
cocaine's a hell of a drug.
So here's the deal. People aren't paying $500 to play old games. Like, you could still play these on the Xbox Fat. You can play them on the S. It's just an option. And it's weird to me that on Twitter, there's this narrative that, that people are saying that, Xbox is spending all their resources on back-compat games and fans are eating it up, and they're tweeting, the executives and telling them how happy they are. Why can't people be happy for old games is my question. The fact that Microsoft is providing this service free of cost is an option, and you should be happy about it. I mean, it's okay if you don't like playing old games, that's you, but there's a lot of people that do. And the fact that they're doing this for free, and the fact that if you even look the side-by-side comparisons of these OG Xbox games, it is crazy, the technology that they're using. And it provides people the opportunity to go back and play and have those memories and have those joyous experiences. So when you shit on an option like this, basically what you're saying is saying, hey, why don't you guys charge us for backwards compatibility? Hey,
why don't you be more anti-consumer? That's what they're saying. And I just think it's silly because options are always good, and for people to get mad at this, I said this on B.R.A.P, just exactly what you were saying now. I was saying on B.R.A.P last night. It's the same thing, man. It's like these people need to understand that what you may like may not be somebody else's cup of tea, and vice versa.
Absolutely.
You have to understand that opinions are, like a-holes. We all have one. So it's funny to me, man. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
So we all know the game situation when it comes to Xbox,
wait. Who's to say that they're spending all their resources on backwards compat as well?
Oh, don't they have a dedicated team that works solely on back compat that's separate from everything else? Come on now. Here's the thing that I don't get. We're seeing Microsoft make such a big push with back compat this generation. They had a little bit during the 360 era. We were able to play some old OG Xbox games on the 360. But I mean, Nintendo's been doing this for a while with their virtual console, and yet people absolutely eat that up. People are still wanting the virtual console for Switch. Why does Microsoft have to get the hit for it? What is so different about what they're doing than what the other competition's doing? Like, I don't understand that. It's preservation of art. That's what it is. You can Everyone has fond memories of these games at some point. It doesn't matter. There are people who still go back and play Mega Man, for Christ's sake. They still play the original Mario. That's a 30-year-old game, but you don't see them complaining about it. It's preservation at its highest point. Gaming is a form of art that is the culmination of 3 separate forms of art. It is animation, it is music, it is story writing, it is acting. 4 forms if you really want to get into it, or more. Like, this is the perfect thing to do. People who take the stance of that remastering and being able to emulate older games and be able to continue to play them at any point is full of it, because the fact that this is something that we need to do. Because you got to remember that there are many games that have been lost to time because of the fact that there was no way to preserve some of those older games. We're still finding out titles that came out 30 years ago that no one had heard of because of the fact that they just found a random like pile of them at some random like basement or garage or somewhere. Like, anyone who has an issue with this needs to get off their high horse and go somewhere else, because Nintendo's been doing it for years. They did it on the Wii. Like, come on.
You got to look at the fact that, you know, you look at a game like Red Dead Redemption. People have been screaming for years they wanted that on PC. It's never coming to PC. So what do we get? We get the next best thing. We get Red Dead Redemption in 4K on the Xbox One X. For anybody to downplay any of that is ridiculous, man. Knuckles, you hit it on the head, man.
So it's 2 separate narratives, and it's a fanboy driven narrative. When you act, it's like it's an and or an or situation, because that's not the case. It's not and or. It's not. It's like you're gonna get your backwards compatibility titles, or you're gonna get new games. That's not the case. We all know the situation with Microsoft and the way things have been, and it's unfortunate. And we'll go over, you know, that, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we talk about God of War. But right now, when I have to talk about backwards compatibility, if we see in the next generation that PlayStation 5 is adapted backwards compatibility, isn't that a good thing? Isn't a good thing for gaming that forwards and backwards compatibility can be a thing, especially with the digital age and the fact that you can move your titles, you know, forward and backwards, and they don't get lost with time. I think it's a good thing. So I don't know. It just kind of gets me triggered when I see that. Because it's not all or nothing, you know. So I think it's a good thing, and you know, inside Xbox, that's what they focused on, and I think that people put unreal expectations when it comes to this show. They're giving it scores like it's an E3. You know, they're expecting a huge announcement like Super Smash Brothers, like the Nintendo Direct, and inside Xbox has never been, you know, said that it's going to be that. You know, it's a way for them to communicate what they want to communicate. And when you put your expectations and your desires for what you want the show to be, then you're going to be let down 100% of the time. So let's talk about the 360 titles real quick, and then we'll move forward. Basically, let me bring them up. We had a Sonic game. I can't remember. Sonic Generations. The Force Unleashed is one of the titles that I'm excited for. But that real important title that I think everybody is excited for is the Red Dead. So yeah, we got some good stuff about that. Xbox Fan Fest, they're gonna start charging for that. They're gonna let more people in. It's gonna be $45 for that. They had an interview which was awesome. And what'd you guys think of that interview with Michael Ironside? Did you guys enjoy that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
I
awesome.
absolutely did. Because Michael Ironside he's one of those iconic voices within the industry, just as much as David Hayter and a few other big names. Like Michael Ironside, when Sam Fisher and Splinter Cell came out, he was that voice. He absolutely was that character. You know, when he stepped away for Blacklist and Conviction, was sad. We had a different take. But seeing him really come back and really get surprised to be out to be interviewed during the show, talk about them bringing back the character for this special event and another big Tom Clancy game with the Ghost Recon series. Like, it was special because the fact that you could still see how much life is still in Ironside after all these years, and still how much he feels for it all. Despite everything that happened before, he still has that passion for it. And that was something special, because you saw how much he was kind of laughing a little bit and really enjoying himself. Like, anyone who says any different, like, it's good that he was able to make that comeback, you know?
Yeah. B.R.A.P, what did you think of the interview? Did you see it?
He actually stepped away.
Oh, okay. Fonz.
Yeah.
Fonz, did you see the interview?
No, I didn't. I didn't see it.
Okay. Anybody else have thoughts on that interview with Michael Ironside before we move on?
I did actually, because Michael Ironside Splinter Cell is one of those games for me that really defined my love of action, RPG based games. I know it's not a full RPG, but it's a linear story, but just how engrossed you can get into it. That's one of the first games that I was completely enveloped. I was just overwhelmed with the story, with all the side stories, with the characters. I mean, and Michael Ironside, when I heard that he was going to be interviewed, I was all for it. That was the only reason why I watched, and that was probably my favorite part of the entire Inside Xbox thing. Inside Xbox show was Michael Ironside's interview, and hearing his, I think Punk said it best, his conviction while he was talking about it, while he was talking about the story that he told with the guy who comes up to him and says, thank you for giving me that connection with my son.
Mm-hmm.
Things like just how well he owned. I mean, when he came on, he was like, "No, I am Sam Fisher. I am Sam Fisher."
I love that part.
That was beautiful to me. That was perfect, because when you hear Michael Ironside's voice, whether it's in Starship Troopers or in any other movie that he's in, I think of Sam Fisher. That's it. I see Sam Fisher.
Yeah.
And, it's the same way that people see David Hayter as Snake. I understand completely what you're saying.
Yeah,
just hearing the voice,
Mark Hamill and the Joker.
Yeah,
same thing with Mark Hamill and the Joker. Like, there's just these iconic people that play this iconic role in your life. Whether somebody likes the game or doesn't, they know that when they talk about Splinter Cell and they talk about Sam Fisher, the first thing you're probably going to see on that comment section is bring back Ironside Fisher. Like, that's all you're going to see. And that's because he is Sam Fisher. He said it best. He is Sam Fisher. That was my favorite part of Inside Xbox. And just to have him, I've still yet to jump into Wildlands, but when I do, it's going to be fucking amazing, because it's going to bring back nostalgia and I'm going to cry.
Well,
it's going to be amazing.
Well, I'm right there. I'm right there with you, Native. And guess what? We get to play it for free next weekend. So, we're going to hop into that together.
I own that bitch.
Oh, where you at? Well, I don't. So you have to wait for me till next weekend. But I think the biggest part about it is when they were talking about that, and if anyone has started that mission, there was something that Michael Ironside did, and that the Ubisoft team with Ghost Recon did that really kind of hit me hard. Is that Sam Fisher is one of the last standing characters that really are as the godfathers of the stealth action genre.
Mm-hmm.
And he made a reference to Metal Gear, to Snake retiring. And when I heard that and he said, I'm the last one left, or I'm all that's left, it really got me choked up, because when you look back in the day, it was Splinter Cell, Metal Gear, and Siphon Filter. Siphon Filter fell off back in the early 2000s. It was just Splinter Cell and Metal Gear. And now that after the Kojima being away from Konami and what's going on with Metal Gear now, it's not going to be the same. So now just knowing that out of the trifecta, that Sam's all that's left, and he made that kind of connotation in the game, that broke my heart.
It's true, man. So do you guys think that we're going to see a new game this year? Or,
yes.
Yes.
E3. I mean, be on Microsoft stage.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Is Ubisoft
I want to give Brian Baker a shout out. Some of us ain't broke bitches. That was hilarious, dude. I had to mute my mic to laugh. It's fucking funny, dude. But continue.
Does anyone know, is Ubisoft doing a conference? I know they do a conference pretty much every year.
Every year.
Sunday, actually.
Yeah, so more than likely we might either see them tease it during their conference and then it be on the Microsoft stage if it is true about the marketing rights, or they may just show it off on their stage. But I think we'll definitely see some sort of sign of it at this year, because I want to say that Ubisoft has been stepping up their advertisement and the way that they've been kind of doing things. So we might actually see the return of Splinter Cell. I know for the last year. They were saying, no, we don't have anything in the works. And earlier, I think it was in December, that Yves Guillermo said, no, we have something special working for Splinter Cell. And I don't think that he was just teasing this event that they're doing in Wildlands.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we're gonna finally see the return, and it's about time, honestly.
Sure. Yeah, they're not gonna bring in Michael Ironside and then just have like a little sample size on Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Exactly. Not gonna happen. That was my exact thought. I was like, if they're making a big deal about this and showing it, of course, on Xbox and having Michael Ironside there talking about it and doing an event like this, it's not going to be a small thing. They're planning something.
Absolutely.
On my Reddit account, my highest upvoted post in the subreddit for Xbox One is an article about the Ubisoft CEO teasing Splinter Cell. This was probably 10 months ago. This was last year sometime. So they've been teasing it for a while. It's been coming out. People have been hearing things here and there, and it's ready, dude. And this thing, this is my ideal plan for Ubisoft and Splinter Cell. They introduce Michael Ironside back as Sam Fisher in Ghost Recon Wildlands, and E3 they come out with an announcement, a teaser, if you will, kind of how they did with Battlefront 2 years ago or however long that was. They do something with that, and then come 2019, maybe 2020, Splinter Cell. I don't think we'll get it right away. I would love that, but I don't think we're going to get it right away. I think it's maybe another year off.
Yeah, I'm not a big Splinter Cell fan. I don't mean to get anybody triggered, but I'm not really big into those stealth games. But I think they might make a surprise announcement, and we might see it sooner than later. But let's get into the next topic. So apparently the creator of PUBG wants his game to be supported for 20 years. I thought this was a joke when I first saw it.
That's a lot of brown shoes and tank tops to be given away.
oh shit.
I saw a joke out there that maybe by the end of 20 years they'll actually have it optimized. Oh
no.
Maybe it'll be on a preview program after 20 years.
Oh, that hurts.
So it's real quick. We'll talk about this real quick. This is crazy, man. Games as a service, talking about like 20 years, man. I don't see this happening. I don't even see it getting close. There's games like Rainbow Six Siege that have come out. They came out and said that they're going to support their game for 10 years, but 20. My God, that is crazy as shit. We'll be on like PlayStation 7 and Xbox, whatever, and then PC will still be there. You guys think that he's just blowing smoke up people's asses or what? Like,
absolutely. You're gonna sit there and tell me you have no ambition to making anything else besides 20 years of PUBG? That's what you want your entire life is PUBG for fucking 20 years. Come on,
God damn.
Native might like it.
Yeah.
No. I'll throw this out right now. If he's dead serious about supporting this for another 20 years, then I guarantee you that PUBG is going to be the very first of its kind to be considered an OG Xbox One back compat early access game. That's the first of its kind right there. No fucking way that this guy's. I mean, you look at games like Destiny, the franchise Destiny. Bungie's struggling for 10 years right now. Like they're losing player bases after player base. Like it's falling apart on them for 10 years. And this guy's talking about 20, and yet Fortnite looks 10 times better than PUBG does right now. I don't see it, man. This guy's smoking some shit, and he needs to stop.
Yeah, it was interesting to see the quote. I don't see it happening. It was just a funny thing to me. Anybody else have anything to say about it before we move on? Okay. I didn't think so.
I have no opinion on this other than hopefully it comes out of preview program soon.
So speaking of Destiny, apparently there's a new expansion coming out called the Warmind. Is this going to get you guys back into Destiny? I actually looked at some video of Destiny last night when I was reading this story, and God, I still hate the game. I don't know. I go in there and I cringe every time I see it. So what do you guys think, man? If this is on the level of Taken King, which they usually kind of go on these like ups and down, with the game. They have, shitty content and they make mistakes, and then, they bring out huge updates. Like, they brought out the Taken King, and before that, there was this huge content gap and everybody was pissed off at the game. Do you think they have the ability to come out with the Warmind and correct all that is wrong with this ghost of a game. What do you guys think?
Nope.
No.
And I'll tell you why, right?
Okay.
And this is from someone who put well enough time, probably as much as Fonz or Native might be able to say, is the first time round with Destiny 1, it was something unique. You know, it was a first-person MMO light shooter. It had loot system that worked, but it was very rough at launch in year 1, and they improved it over time. Destiny 2 comes around. They already had 3 years of iterations to make it a better game. Why the hell is it a major step back? All right. And now with all the updates and the new updated roadmap that they're doing, right? A lot of it is stuff that should have been in there from the get-go, as well as new changes that should help push it forward. Why do we have to continue and sit and let them iterate the damn game a second time to get it to where it should have been from the get-go? Are they so disconjointed among all the 300 people and 3 studios that they had that were working on this separate from Taken King and Rise of Iron, that they couldn't communicate, hey, this is the system we're using here, this is what we have? Why do they have to take 3 steps back to take 1 step forward? That's where I don't understand. The Curse of Osiris was already lackluster. You took a character that everyone had craved from the lore and universe that they built, gave them maybe all of 7 to 8 minutes of screen time, and the entire time it was completely unappealing. Like, how do you mess that up? A character that is so enriched in this mystery and lore that you have built, you can't even deliver him in a great way. And now you're doing something with Warmind. Jason Schreier had come out in his breakdown and some of his investigative stuff about Destiny. This is something that was originally going to be in Destiny 1 at launch. This is a 5-year-old DLC that we're playing. No, no, I'm not doing that. When this was something that should have been there from the beginning.
Hey, to be honest, that's not surprising to me, man.
I mean, yeah, it's not surprising, but it's like the length of what these are starting to show. Yeah, this would have all been one big ass game at the very beginning if it was all together. They already had to take what was the Destiny 2 campaign and extend that out from what it was supposed to originally be at the end of Destiny 1 when it was included. Like, all of this was everything that was in Destiny 1, and now they're trying to extend it out, and it's not doing them any favors. It is showing its age, and it's showing the mismanagement that they're doing.
It's just sad, man. This is a Xbox-centric channel, and to see Bungie a shell of its former self is kind of depressing to me, honestly. B.R.A.P, what do you think of this? I know you got Curse of Osiris. I think you were talking about it, man. How much did you play that, and do you think this next expansion is going to be that Taken King expansion for Destiny, and it's going to solve all of its problems? What do you think, man?
No, and I think if it solves some problems, it'll create new ones. I think that's kind of been the history of Destiny. You know, it's like,
yes. Every update breaks 3 other things from the last update.
It's like, what the hell's going on? And look, I mean, I'm not a game developer. I'm sure what they're trying to accomplish is probably challenging in some regard, but I don't think it's going to fix anything. I think it may fix some things, but I think there's going to be new issues. And honestly, guys, I'm after Osiris, I'm just done with Destiny. Yeah. That was such a letdown. And there's so much other content coming out. I'm not going back to it. I'm done.
I'm right there with you, Brad. Dude, I played Destiny 2 hardcore for all of like a month and a half, and I'm just like, I'm done. I was like, I got so put off from it. I don't want Destiny 3 at all. And I bought both collector's editions, right? From 1 and 2. And I'm just like, no, I'm not doing this.
You're gonna get Destiny 3 and you're gonna like it, okay?
I bought it on 2 consoles.
That's right.
I bought it on 2 consoles so I could play with both my friends on the PlayStation and Xbox. But I won't go back. I'm just done.
Yeah. So exactly.
So Fonz, I got to hear your take, man. You got Destiny 2. You were all excited. You played 200 hours of it. You faded off.
It was, it's because of it was a lack of content in the end game. The end game was crap. There really was none. And look, if they right the wrong, Fantastic. Great for them. Will they do it? I doubt it. I doubt it with Destiny 2 anyway, because I've already heard that they were already working on Destiny 3. They're putting all their resources into that. They barely got anybody working on Destiny 2 right now. So whatever they put out, it's just going to be reskins. It's going to be adding just bullshit here and there, trying to get people to come back, but it's not going to work. It's not going to work the way they intend it to. And I think for Destiny 3, if they were to come out and Destiny 3 was actually really, really good, as much as I say I will never go back to Destiny, I might. And the reason why I say that is because, honestly, guys, I mean, Destiny 1 was probably, if I had to choose, probably my game of the generation so far. No other game has really, captivated me for as long as Destiny 1 has. As much as I don't like Destiny 2 now, Destiny 3 could totally make me do a 180 on it. And I don't know, I love the gunplay, man. Like, there's nothing else that feels like that to me.
No, the gunplay is hands down probably some of the best this console gen, but like you said, Jay, the end game's an issue, and so is the what is it, the Bright Engrams or whatever they're called, the the
microtransactions in the game.
Microtransactions, and the shader system. I mean, it's just
they were talking about maybe, I think this update they're going to put the shaders back out there in the wild. They won't be hidden behind a paywall anymore. Anyway, I think they're planning on getting rid of that, from what I read. But
that was such a terrible idea.
Yeah, it was stupid, and gosh, it pissed me off because I loved it, man. I loved Destiny, and people hate on it and they shit on it. I don't give a fuck. I like what I like. And I really don't care if people don't like the game that I like, but damn it, like, you don't understand. If this game, Destiny 3, comes out and it's a great game and it's being reviewed as such and the end game is there, I'm going back, damn it. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
You know what, Fonz? I'll give you respect for that, because I'm glad that you said that. Is I believe in Destiny, right? I love this franchise. Even though I'm so put off by the game, I still have so much action figures, collectible stuff. I love Destiny. I truly do. And the thing is, for me especially, I don't have the kind of love that some people in the Xbox community have for Bungie, because I was never a big Halo fan growing up. I played Halo 1, I played Halo 2, I watched Halo 3, and I played through Reach. But I wasn't like hardcore set on it. But I loved what they did with Halo. But Destiny was something unique for me that it had me drawn in, going back every week, running raids 3 times a week, eating all the end game, trying to collect as much every possible gear set that was out there. But just what they did with Destiny 2 was just so polarizing, and it was so bad.
I get it. But here's my thing. And people have to realize this. Just drop the bullshit sometimes and really think about the end game for gamers in general. Do you want to see companies fail? I do not. No, do I want Bungie to right the wrong and come back and succeed? Yes. Same thing with BioWare. People shit all over BioWare for Andromeda. I did the same. I didn't like Andromeda. But does that mean that if they were to come out with a new Mass Effect and it was badass, I wouldn't buy it? Hell no. If Anthem comes out and it's badass, I'm buying it day one. Why? Because I want to see them succeed. BioWare has a place in my heart as a gamer, as does Bungie. Anybody out there saying they want to see Bungie to fail, to me, is ridiculous. If you guys are saying, I'll never buy that again, I'll never buy this again, you want to see that company fail. Because honestly, what else do they have? A company like Bungie, that is all they have.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying, but it's not that I want to see them fail. It's just that and this is a subjective point of view here, is that from what they did, for me, it was polarizing in a major step.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying is, if they come out and the game is great, Destiny 3, you're still going to hold off because of your principles on Destiny 2?
If the game, well, I'll say this: I'm not getting it straight out the gate like I did with everything else. I would have to wait and truly see. And for me personally, it would have to be at least a month or so after.
And I'm there with you. I'm right there with you. It wouldn't be day one then. I would have to wait as well, because you're right. But my point is, if it's proven and Bungie is back, I say we got to support developers that are making a turn for the good. We got to support developers that are good out there, and Bungie was one of the good ones. BioWare was one of the good ones. They're on their last leg. If Anthem does not pull through, Anthem is dead. Anthem is, I mean, BioWare is gone.
BioWare's dead. Yeah.
And
BioWare is gone.
And I'm looking forward to Anthem because the reason that like I'm obsessed with Monster Hunter is it scratched the itch that Destiny 1 gave me that Destiny 2 couldn't satisfy. If Anthem does the same thing, I'd be happy. I want BioWare to succeed because I was one of the people who loved Andromeda. I did. And this is one of those things where they really do need this knockout because of what happened with the controversy of all media attention on that game is what really helped to kill it. Yes, it had its faults. There's no one denying that. But a lot of that did get fixed over time. It was the media presence of that game that really killed it. Yes, the story had its points, but that was the aspect.
So it's just, I think the moral of the story is we hope that Bungie can turn it around. We don't want Bungie to fail. It's not in our wheelhouse to want them to fail. I think that's kind of a weird thing for people to want,
And here's the thing, dude. I'm not. Let me rephrase that. What I said earlier. I don't think you guys necessarily want them to fail, but I'm just saying there's people out there that do say that. They say F Bungie. I don't care about BioWare, and they just curse these developers, and they're not thinking straight. Sometimes you got to just put this negativity and shit aside and just really think about what that would do to our gaming scene, the industry, what's going on. Man, if we lose developers like BioWare and Bungie, we're left with the Ubisofts and some of these other companies that are just they're wishy-washy themselves. They have some games that are great, some games that are dog shit. And man, I just want to try to support and get the best developers we can in this industry. I don't know, man. I just thinking long term.
I agree with you, and I'm right there with you. It's weird to me how many people I've seen that are like pretty much saying the Anthem is going to be a failure and all this other stuff. Let's just let the games come out and we'll see what happens. So we'll see what happens with Bungie and Destiny 2 and their expansion. But let's move on to the meat and potatoes. PS5. We had some rumors out there, and we'll touch upon this briefly. But it looks like we may have to wait until 2020 for PlayStation 5, and that's what I was saying all along. Honestly, there was a rumor that came out that said that we're going to see the PS5 in late 2018, but with this new release, it's saying 2020. So briefly, let's touch upon this, and we'll move on to the God of War topic, and we'll get out of here. What do you guys think about this 2020 release date? Do you think it's more plausible that it's going to be coming out in 2020, or are you still on board with the 2019 thing?
I'm going to go 2020, and my good buddy Matt Piscatella and NPD, I'm going to go with his prediction too of 2020 for both a new PlayStation and Xbox console. So he's put that out there quite a bit, and I agree with him. I think 2020 is going to be the year we get new consoles.
Yeah, I saw his tweets about that, and I was like, man, this guy's on the money, because I feel right there with him. With that 2020 mark, I honestly just think that PlayStation's on a roll. You see it with their games, with the media attention and the way the PlayStation Slim and the original PlayStation selling. And I don't see the motivation there to start the new gen for a couple more years. And I think 2020 is perfect. And as far as the Xbox goes, they just released the Xbox One X, so I don't, we'll see what happens. But in this report, it says that they're ready to move it up if Xbox makes a play for an earlier time slot. I feel that that's interesting because it's kind of, that back and forth with the companies, like, hey, if you're going to do this, we're going to do that to top it. It's always a back and forth with business. And I think that's, just the way it's going to go this gen. I think that one console is going to pull the trigger and the other console is going to be close by, but I don't think any of them are going to come out until 2020. Who else has thoughts on this?
I was with you, Salty, with the 2020. I mean, it's more logical. It's going to give them time to make great games. And if anyone's going to put out like some sweet exclusives, I mean, let's be honest, it's going to be PlayStation. And they're not going to, with the momentum they have, they're not going to release that thing with nothing that less than straight fire. Is all I'm trying to say. It's going to be, it's going to be awesome. Man. 2020, buddy.
Here's the thing, and I'm holding strong for November of 2019, guys, and there's several reasons. You've got The Last of Us 2, you've got Death Stranding, and you've got Ghost of Tsushima. You got three bangers right there, potential bangers, I should say, because we don't know, but potential bangers that I could see being played on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. And I think that it would be a smart move to release with something like The Last of Us 2, especially that game. And we know that's coming next year. So I don't know, man. And it being the 25th anniversary of PlayStation, I think it fits. Now it could go into 2020. That could happen, but I'm still holding on to November 2019.
As long as you're not saying 2018 fonts, we're good.
Oh,
yeah, no, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Native sounds like he's calling in from a tin can. How's it going, dude?
Oh yeah, no, I'm calling in from my phone, and I'm using my Rig 400LX headset. Yeah, my laptop is just crashed. I mean, this thing is dead. Dead. But I'll be getting a new one pretty soon. But apologies for the sound quality, but like I've told you guys over and over and over and over and over again since the very first time I was on this podcast, 2020, that's the year, 2020. There's nothing changing my mind from that.
Awesome.
So you know what I have to say too? Is this the same report that said that all the games being made from April 1st on forward for the PlayStation is going to the PlayStation 5?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I read that earlier.
Yeah, I did hear that.
Okay, yeah, it does say that.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ghost of Tsushima was a PlayStation 5 game. And I've even put this out there. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw The Last of Us 2 on the PS5.
Well, that's why I'm saying November 2019. I'm telling you, man, it could happen. I'm not saying you guys are wrong though, because it could be 2020 as well. And it's just a year away, but it could be even less than a year because it could come out early in spring of 20, because they've done that before. But here's the thing. It also said it could come out at a $600 price tag.
They do that. I think it's DOA.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You have to get a second job for that one, right?
Look, I was on record as saying that I would pay freaking $700 for an Xbox One X. I would pay, I've paid $700 for a 3DO in the past. Okay. So it's not the price that really gets me, because I love the more power. I love the new generations, and I would pay that, but I'm in the minority.
Yeah, but you remember the outcry when the news broke at E3, the $500 price point for the X? Mm-hmm. People were saying that, that's too much. Consoles don't sell at that price point. It's got to be at $400. So if they're trying to release a console at $600, I know there's a lot of people out there that are tech guys and they'll pay whatever it takes. But man, that's a huge risk if they're going to try to set the bar at $600.
Oh yeah, that's very risky. That thing's DOA. Yeah. There's no way people are going to pay that.
I'll have one in my house, but yeah,
I'm with you, Fonz. I would, even if it does come out 2019, like I gotta have it first. Like since the 360, I bought every one on release date. So
I have it. I could absolutely wait. Like I don't even have a PS4 right now, right? I'm still waiting.
Fraud status.
Kick him off the show. I don't have one either.
Yeah,
fraud.
I'm working on it. Hey, I got a Switch. I got.
I do too. I do too.
Yeah, Switch gang. Shout out to Nintendo. but
Rods.
I'm working
on
vomit. I'm working on getting my PS4. But man, like we already knew that 2018 was unrealistic. 2019 is too early. I've stated multiple times 2020 is the good time. Maybe 2021, and that is the right amount of years between the generation. It's not as long as the last one, which lasted 10. This one puts it right around 7 to 8 years. That's a good amount of time for the generation before they do anything. Yes, I get that maybe all the games that they're making now is going to go forward onto the PS5, and they're going to have a remix, just like we did with the start of this generation with some of the Xbox games. We had a couple of the multiplats and a few exclusives that were on the 360 that when the Xbox One came out, you could trade them in and get the Xbox One version and stuff like that, because that was a special that they were doing at GameStop way back in the day. Like I see it happening. It's gonna happen, and it's the right thing to do because one, it fills in the gap of games that they have right now to finish out the generation and something to start in the generation, so they do have some sort of software to start it off. But any earlier than 2020, I don't see it happening at all.
Exactly. It's interesting, man. We'll see what happens, but let's get into the main topic. What's up?
Well, real quick, you guys are going to be prepared to eat crow in November 2019 because that's when it's dropping, baby.
Oh boy.
But if he's wrong, we'll forget about that one.
Yeah, right.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. So let's get on to the main topic of the night. What you guys have all come for. The main event. God of War scores release, and my God, holy shit. Twitter was a meltdown today, and I don't know. Some of these, you know, some days are more than others, and I could tell the chat's lit up. You guys are extra feisty today and going back and forth. God of War, man, the scores are out, and everybody's saying that this is a masterpiece. It's getting 10s. A lot of places are giving it 10s, and it's getting high. You know, it's in the mid 9. I think it's like what, a 95 on Metacritic.
95 Metacritic.
Yeah. 95. Okay.
Yeah.
Did it hit 95 already? Because the last I'd seen it was 94.
I think it's a 95, but it's the highest rated PS4 game of the gen at this point, I think.
Yep.
So this is causing fighting on both sides. We don't get into that. We try not to, and we try not to get caught up in it. But I want to talk about God of War, and let's talk about scores. Let's just start there, okay? So there's an NDA that no one. So we have these reviewers. They're professional reviewers from media sites and people that do it for, you know, a living. You got YouTubers, all this other stuff, right? So you have all these people doing reviews, and there's this narrative that there's media biased and all this other stuff. But what happens when all these dudes? So there's an NDA. The NDA is lifted, and they shoot out their reviews. It's not like they're changing them based off of the other scores that other people give. It's not like they're all talking to each other. They all release their scores, and there's getting, you know, 10s and high 9s. So it's interesting. It looks like God of War is going to be one of the best games that PlayStation's brought out this gen. What are you guys' thoughts on this? Let's start with our guest. What's your thoughts on God of War and the scores?
You know, I think that like you said, this game is probably going to be one of the best games this console generation on all platforms. I don't think now obviously I haven't played it yet. So I'm only going by the reviews, and I'm going by conversations that I've had with people who've actually played the game. And people that I've talked to that have played the game already have said that it is truly a masterpiece. That it's really one of the best games that they've played this console generation. And look, I think that just speaks to Sony's pedigree, and Sony's done a phenomenal job of putting out some really great content. We talked about exclusive content. We talked about Bloodborne earlier. We talked about Horizon Zero Dawn. You could throw God of War in that list now, and they still have. We don't know how Detroit Become Human is going to turn out. We don't know how Spider-Man's going to turn out, although Spider-Man definitely has the pedigree of Insomniac behind it. And that game looks pretty good from what we've seen, at least from what I've seen. I think it looks pretty good. Look, no one should be infighting. There shouldn't be fighting about this. This should be a time where we celebrate this game. This is the kind of stuff that we want to see. We want to see developers take franchises. I mean, this is a storied franchise, and I don't think that enough people are focusing on this either. That, you know, Santa Monica, this game, Sony didn't want to make this game. They didn't want another God of War. If Santa Monica was going to make this game, they needed to redo it, and they did. They took a creative risk, a huge creative risk, and sort of turned the franchise upside down in some ways for what we've seen. And from what we're seeing now, executed on their vision and has delivered a great game that we may be talking about, you know, next console gen, like how we talk about games from last console gen. You know, we talk about games for me last console gen that stick out: Gears of War,
Red Dead,
Red Dead. Yeah, we talked about Red Dead earlier. Red Dead.
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect. The Witcher 2. This generation, The Witcher 3. This is potentially going to be one of those games, and we shouldn't be arguing about it. Like, no one should be like upset or angry. You know, this should be a celebration. We should be in the streets popping bottles and celebrating the fact that we have this great game that's coming to a console, and it's great for the industry. It's so good for
nerds. Bunch of nerds in the street popping bottles of Yahoo.
Yeah, exactly. Popping bottles of Mountain Dew.
Popping bottles of Mountain Dew and eating some Cheetos.
Yeah.
Doritos, bro. You gotta go to the whole yard.
Yeah. But I'm excited, guys. I really am. This is such a special time to be a gamer. I mean, Jay, we talked about this last night on B.R.A.P, man. 2018. I thought 2017 was a hell of a year for gaming. Shit, man. 2018 looks like it's gonna be even better than 2017, which is crazy.
Well, yeah, we were talking about this last night, and do you mind if I go next?
Go ahead, dude.
Okay, so last night we were talking about this on B.R.A.P, and Enrique was asking us what do we think the scores are going to be. You know, I was like 95, 97. I think it's going to score real high. I feel really good about this game. I feel there's something special about it, I said, because number one, when I first saw the game, I was kind of taken aback, and I was unsure of the shoulder camera, and I was like, this is a big departure from the series, from the God of War we know. Okay. And as time went on, I saw more gameplay and I saw more of the story, and I was like, oh wow, okay, this looks like it might be special. And so I was getting more and more into it. And then Sony announced that they're going to release their reviews a week early, and I thought, wow, they've got a lot of swagger here. They're trying to, you know, they're confident in this product. I'm going to go all in. This game is going to be awesome. So that's what I've been saying since then. And lo and behold, boom, the scores are showing that it's awesome. Now, I don't know personally if it is for me, but like I said on B.R.A.P last night, I said, this console generation, I have not yet been wowed by a game. And what I mean by that is I played a bunch of great games, but I have not had that wow moment, that oh shit moment where I sat back after I finished a game and I really felt the game and it stuck with me for a long time. I have not felt that yet. Last gen, I had Red Dead, I had Mass Effect 2, I had The Last of Us. Those all stuck with me. I still think about those games to this day. This gen, nothing has stuck with me like that. Could this be the game that possibly does that? I hope so. I hope so, man.
It's true, man. So what's your take on the whole back and forth? Like, do you think it's just lack of high scoring games on other consoles, or specifically the Xbox, or what?
Oh, dude, it just comes down to this whole, you know, it's the console wars on social media. Do we talk about this all the time? Look, back in the day, there's always been a console war, but back in the day, it was between you and your friends, or you and people you saw face to face talking shit to each other, and it never got crazy. It never went way left, you know. But here, the anonymity of being on social media and being that keyboard warrior, that internet tough guy, you could say whatever the hell you want. And that's what people do. The trolling stuff, the little comedy banter here and there, I find funny at times. But the personal attacks over a game? Come on, people. Grow up.
True. Noof Nukem, shout out to him. He said Rise of the Tomb Raider was that game for him this generation. Yeah, man, that game was outstanding. But it's interesting to me. We might touch upon that subject in a minute. But Bloody, what's your take on the God of War scores? I know you have your own unique take on it. What's your thought process, man?
Despite some of the stuff I said about the scores, I'm happy. I've always stated that I always have been very for that. I support the developers and the passion that goes into it. I gave props to Guerrilla Games with what they did for Horizon Zero Dawn. And if I've always loved God of War, I've stated my preferences and issues with the game. But if a lot of people are saying it's great and they've been loving it, that's great. It's always been just about gaming. That's the point of being a gamer. It's about the games. And if this game is truly that much of a masterpiece that people are loving it, that's great. I'm looking forward to it because I thought that the change was always an interesting choice and I was excited for it. I had the collector's edition pre-ordered. I have it already paid off. I'm waiting for it. It's one of the first games I'm going to play whenever I get a PS4 or if I play it out in the old man's house, you know, whichever comes first. But anyone who's getting mad about it one way or the other, they need to cut the shit, honestly. Who cares if it's only on PlayStation, it's doing good? Who cares if Xbox doesn't have a game on that's high rated like that? It doesn't matter. What does matter is that we appreciate and love the fact that you're getting a game that's on this level, that you're going to be able to play it and support the developers who took the time to craft it. Like anytime a game comes out, whether it's good or bad, you should really pay attention to it. There's some that are absolutely just, you know, it's questionable, but when they do everything they can for it, you know, it should be supported. This is a game that I've been looking forward to. It's one of the games that I've been most excited for the PlayStation. It was one of the games that's on my list, just like a couple others that are now coming over to Xbox. If they were still only on PlayStation, I would be gladly getting them on PlayStation. You know, I plan on getting Horizon Zero Dawn. I have Spider-Man pre-ordered just like Punk. Punk here has that game pre-ordered, and I'm pretty sure I think anyone else on the panel might have that game pre-ordered. It's the fact of they're great games, they're very unique, and it doesn't matter about the console or bullshit, because when it comes down to it, it's about the developers who are creating it. Doesn't matter what platform. At the end of it all, it's the developers who are doing the games that deserve the credit, and they should be the ones who are acknowledged. If Santa Monica did an amazing job and it's being hailed as a masterpiece, great, they deserve it. You know, Cuphead was a masterpiece in its own right as what it is. This game is a masterpiece. We're going to see something special with Spider-Man and Detroit. You know, Quantic Dream has always done something special with Beyond Two Souls and Heavy Rain. I loved Heavy Rain on my PS3. I still have replayed that. That game has so many different outcomes. I still love it. Like, anyone who's getting mad about these scores and using it in this console war bullshit is not real. They're all a bunch of frauds who don't care about it, because they would be glad and celebrating the company that, or the studio that's doing it. That's where it comes down to.
It's true. Punks, what's your thoughts about the scores real quick?
Oh, y'all know me. I'm probably one of the most casual guys on this panel, and I know you guys get a little bit more into the numbers. They could get this game a fucking 5 and I'd buy it. It's just that's just how I feel about it. I mean, like, it's like going to watch a movie. You go watch a movie. Oh, it got these fucking terrible reviews. You're like, I thought that movie was fantastic. You know, I don't care about stuff. I thought Ninja Turtles was fucking awesome. All right. Dude, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Punk, it's okay. I'm a fraud too. I actually like the Prince of Persia movie, so you know.
Oh God.
You see how quickly that changes?
Yeah. Well, that's whole level. Turtles is better. Anyway, dude. It's been since on the console. I think that after God of War 3, which was in 2010, I think PSP made a couple handheld ones in like 2011, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure. It was like Chains of Olympus or something. I can't remember if that was before or after. But it's been 8 years since something like this is coming out. So, I mean, just that waiting period, it's got people on their toes, man. They're waiting for something phenomenal to happen. And I'm glad for this game to come out. And I don't have to buy it because my brother-in-law, he's going to get it digitally, which I was actually supposed to get up with him tonight, but we went ahead and got to the podcast, dude. But remember before they even showed anything, people were like, there's no jump button. Yeah. You're going to tell me you're not going to buy a game because there's no fucking jump button? I played Watch Dogs. You couldn't jump in that, and I love that game. Again, not a great game for everybody, but it wasn't a killer for me because I couldn't jump. You can't fucking jump in Gears of War. How phenomenal is that game? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. Stupid, dude.
Yeah, I think it's just the fanboy shit, man.
It is, and I hate it, man. I hate it.
It's unfortunate. I was going to get on to some other things, but we'll end on this topic. Native, what's your thoughts on this, and then we'll go with the outros.
I think my only thought on this
Okay, he's having some he's been having issues all night, but I'll give my take on it real quick. I think that God of War is an outstanding game. I think we should celebrate games when they're successful. We shouldn't hope for games to fail just because we don't have the platform or it's not our platform of choice. Or if your platform of choice didn't get the scores that you wanted it to get, because in the end, it's just a score. If you like the game, then you like the game. And no matter what people say to you, it doesn't fucking matter. So in the end, it doesn't matter what people give the score for God of War. If they gave it a 10 or a 6, people are going to like it or they're not going to like it. But like I said before, if you don't have the platform or it's not your platform of choice, please don't shit on the game and wish for it to do bad. And on the other side, if you have a PlayStation and you're getting God of War, please don't shit on the other side and say, hey, fuck you guys got this and blah, blah, blah. And come on. I mean, let's just enjoy the games. Let's just be gamers and let's move on with our lives. I'm happy that there's going to be a really good game, potentially maybe a game of the generation. And I don't have a PlayStation right now. This is an Xbox-centric channel, but we're gamers at the end of the day, and that's what we focus on. I appreciate everybody that's been here. We had a hell of a it was technical difficulties up the ass today.
Could I say one more thing about the scores? When people talk about, you know, how no game should get a perfect score, I think that they should just keep their mouths shut, because you can't dictate what somebody else's opinion is going to be on any game or any movie or anything. Because to be honest, like, I could sit here and say my opinion is that I've played no perfect game personally. I have a few 9.5s that are almost perfect that I love. But if somebody else says, you know, that game was perfect for me, so be it. That's their opinion. We all have them, people. Just deal with it. That's
very good.
That's a great point, Fonz.
Awesome.
Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say, and he makes a good point. It comes down to form your own opinion. If someone else's opinion influences you, that's fine. But really, any opinion that truly matters is your own. Wait, hold off, get an idea, but when you play the game, how you feel is the one that matters. If it's good to you, then it's good. If it's bad to you, then it's bad. Don't let numbers tell you what to feel.
Yep. So real quick, I did a Twitter poll, and we're not going to get into this. I'm just going to give you the results because it actually got 536 votes, so it was pretty polarizing. I said, will Xbox have an exclusive that scores in the high 90s on Metacritic the rest of this generation? 44% said yes, and 56% said no. So take that with a grain of salt. I guess you guys can be happy with that.
Could I say I hope so?
Okay. We shall see, but that's going to do it for episode 31. Let's do our outros. Let's start off with our guest, B.R.A.P. Thanks for being here. Where can people find you?
Hey, Saltiest, man. Thanks for having me on again, man. It's always a pleasure to talk video games with gamers, and had a great time this evening. Hey, if you want to find me on Twitter, you can find me at B.R.A.P_podcast on Twitter, and I'll take you to my Twitter page, and there's a link to my YouTube page there as well. We broadcast live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, just come check us out. We like to talk about video games, and we don't do the fanboy stuff. So definitely come check us out.
Thanks again for coming through. I'm glad that we could schedule something that worked out for you. Next up, Jay Fonzarelli. Where can people find you?
Well, they can find me at Jay Fonzarelli here on Twitter, well, YouTube and Twitter. But also, I wanted to thank the chat for, coming and hanging out with us every week. There's a lot of guys that are here all the time. And you know what? T.S.P is only growing. I notice it. It's slow. It may be slow and steady right now, but our numbers are growing every week. And I think this is just a testament to putting out good product for the people to listen to out there. And honestly, guys, it wouldn't be a show without you guys. So thank you for coming every week, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, honestly, I if I could do it, I would, personally shout out every one of you guys that comes into the chat. I know people come and go, but in reality, this needs to be like, we're all hanging out. There's the panel discussing the topics, but like I say in my videos, I love interacting in the comment section. That's where I can talk to people that I don't even know. We talk about games because that's the thing that we have in common. That's what I'm passionate about. That's what I do my videos about. It's fun to talk about this. Sometimes you get a little, heated or whatever. But it's fun, man. I think it's just something that we all have in common, and I appreciate all you guys. immensely. I don't know how to put it. It's just fun to come here every Thursday night and build a community where we can all talk about video games and just hang out. Bloody Knuckles, where can people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Bloody Knuckles. The O's are zeros, the E's are threes. And of course, they can find me on my show on Saturdays, the Smash Podcast, your little corner for nerdy news and geeky goodness. And of course, they could find me on every Thursday here with the rest of the T.S.P. crew, man. I got to say that I agree with Fonz. Just seeing the people who come out here every week is always a good thing, man. It's a great community, great people, you know, despite all the trolls that come through. It's honest discussion. That's what it should be. It don't matter about anything else. It's about just gamers talking about games. It don't matter what side of the fence you're on. That's all it is. It's just gaming, man.
Hey, Bloody, have you ever thought about changing your name? Because it's like you're giving out a Nintendo friend code.
Oh man.
I like that. I like that.
It's awesome. You guys bust each other's balls all the time. It's fun. Native, where can people find you? You're the robot man today.
Yeah, let's see if this works. Just want to say thank you. Love you guys. Find me on Twitter, Relevant Native. That's it, man.
Awesome. He got through that without botting. It's a miracle. It's a miracle.
Thanks for joining, B.R.A.P. I appreciate you, man.
Nah, man, definitely. Thank you guys. Love being on.
Last but not least, Punk, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Punkadish Gaming, and then PlayStation and Xbox, just Punkadish, man. Yeah, great topics tonight, man. Love talking to all you guys. It's definitely the highlight of my week. You know, can't wait to get home on Thursdays and talk video games with you. And it was great having Enrique back. Well, I wasn't here the first time. I guess he was on, but you know, it's always good to have him in. So, yeah, great show, man. Had a lot of fun.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, I guess it's me, and then we'll wrap shit up. You're on the channel Saltiest Gaming, 2 words. Episode 31 we had some technical difficulties, but it was awesome, man. I enjoyed it. Thanks for being here again. I've released some videos this week, so check those out. And you can find me on Twitter, Saltiest Gaming. The I is a 1. Thank you for being here. Hit that like button on the way out. If you're new, subscribe, hit the bell icon. And yeah, that's going to do it for the Saltiest Podcast, episode 31. Like, comment, subscribe. And as always, stay salty, my friends.